I'm one of the two leads for the health and well-being theme. So what we are trying to do in this theme is to elicit from the community across the UK people the ideas that come from academia for any type of technology that relates to any one of the catapults that we are collaborating with, but that they're at the stage where the technology has been already developed to some degree. They are usually in technology readiness levels, say, between 1 and 5. And what the collaboration with this network will do is help them to trampoline it to the next stage. And the next stage could be either that they already have a very clear idea about what is the route to market or the route to a particular sector that they're interested in, but they simply don't have the capability to do the prototyping or to do aspects that will facilitate future commercialization, or the other way around. They do have a technology that they are looking for possible domains where it can be applied. And the interaction with the network or the fellowship program in the network will help them to sort of talk to the various catapults and identify opportunities for benefit the industry. We take, the view that in the UK there is a huge amount of great research that is going on in various universities across the country. And colleagues like myself not necessarily have experience in what it takes to translate it to industry, or they don't even know which industry could be utilizing them. And what we look is at how we can help them to take their research to the next level. But at the same time, there's also a huge amount of industry that is requiring solutions to really very difficult problems in areas where the UK, is pioneering or is, front line of the research. But the problem with industry, and I also have talked to a lot of colleagues in our area here in the Leeds City region, they don't know how to have access to that skill set. And that's an area where I think the catapults could help by providing them that link, that nexus of connectivity with academia through the network. Leeds, the Leeds City region is actually quite well known for its base of industry, particularly in the health tech and in the digital health space. And this is something that our West Yorkshire Combined Authority, the Leeds Academic Health Partnership that involves all the universities from the region and all the hospitals from the regions, and our Integrated Care Board have identified as a local priority, as a regional priority, for a number of reasons. On the one side, because of the impact this has for, in general, for healthcare and well-being of our citizens in this area and nationally, but also because we have a very strong industry base. About 22% of all the jobs in digital health are actually placed in the Leeds City region. And we also are home to a number of the headquarters from the NHS, which essentially makes the region as well like a neuralgic center for a lot of decision making in this area. So that element of place, together with that element of academic excellence from the institutions, positions the Leeds City region to be a very good sort of spearhead for healthcare and well-being technologies. So when we set up the network, there was we were given the opportunity essentially to lead on this particular theme, and due to also my role in the Center for Healthcare Technologies and the role that I have in the Leeds Institute for Data Analytics, I could help in connecting to the wider network in the region. Now, we do recognize the theme is not just the Leeds City region, it's nationally, but that proximity to the real problems and to the industry and to the academic collaboration with the NHS makes us, extremely well positioned to understand the complexity of the problems and help other regions in sort of bringing their technologies or their academic, excellence as well to support industry more nationally as well. So what attracted me to the area of computational medicine? Well, that's an interesting question. So I've been working in this field for many, many years now. So I started my career as an engineer. So I'm an electrical engineer by training, but I was always motivated by applications in medicine and what we understand by biomedical engineering or bioengineering. That is a very broad area anyway. So I chose to focus myself on the use of imaging and how to do analysis of images through computers, and that led to connections with AI, with machine learning. But also at some point I realized that if we only use AI to analyze images in the way that we're doing nowadays with machine learning, the best we will have is a quantification of what is in those images today and therefore the status of the patient of the health status of that patient today. However, if you want to start doing predictions about how things may evolve, or if you want to look at different treatment scenarios and how things may evolve, you need to utilize technologies that incorporate also finite elements, computational mechanics, computational physiology, but you use imaging to do those models personalized and patient-specific. And that is basically the area of, is very much connected with digital twins in healthcare. We are also going one step beyond that, which is looking at if you can analyze and create models of a single patient, can we do that across full populations? And can then we utilize those virtual populations to do testing of devices? And that leads into the area of In-Silico trials, which is my core center of attention, if you wish, as an academic. The area of In-Silico trials or computational medicine more broadly is essential for the future of the UK in a number of ways. So we recently published a report actually on the economic benefits of In-Silico technologies for the UK. And we know that it can affect in the next 10 years, more than 110,000 sort of jobs. They are all highly skilled jobs. And they also can affect, they represent quite a large sector of our GDPR as well, an important sector. But I think what is even more important, I would say, is the impact this will have indirectly into other aspects. Like, for instance, currently there is a big challenge in the UK in terms of regulatory approval of new medical devices. We know that about 1 in 5 of the companies in the UK go to the US to do their first regulatory approval. We have a UK sector in medical technologies, which 90% is actually SMEs, so they're relatively small and fragile at the stage of innovation where they are. And finding new ways that we can accelerate that regulatory evidence and not always have to rely on animal experimentation, on bench testing that is very, very expensive, or on human testing that is extremely expensive. And you could also put people at risk. It's a type of evidence that even if it's done in the US will not necessarily be useful to the UK, because we would look for evidence specifically within the NHS. So all of those elements mean that looking at new ways to generate regulatory evidence and evidence of safety and efficacy on devices is critical. And computational medicine, at least the work that I do in that space, is actually how we can create systems that allow us to test computational devices, not with the idea of removing the need of pivotal human trials, but to actually get to pivotal trials only when we have every other certainty that those are going to be successful ones, because that de-risks the patients that go through the trials, will give us the best possible devices, and will also give the best chance for the cost for industry to be smaller. I think the UK is uniquely positioned to deliver that this is a paradigm shift. And, what I'm really passionate is about how to support the local industry, but also, international companies that need to generate evidence in the UK and do that efficiently. So one of the problems that we are facing in the UK is that those trials that are happening elsewhere and not in the UK means that we are now having first in human evidence in Asia, first regulatory approval in the US. So imagine how bad that is, that we have companies that have been innovative companies that have been funded with public money from the UK, but then we are actually, for them it's easier to benefit first patients from other geographies. By the time, those are going to be utilized in the UK, we will have to go all over through the generation of evidence, because the evidence corresponds to other geographies rather from the UK. So that big problem is what we are trying to address, specifically through the use of computational modeling and simulation. So if a researcher from any of the academic institutions in the UK would be interested in connecting to the network, in general, contact with any of the theme leads. If you're interested in healthcare and well-being, please contact me, and we can talk you through the options that there are, the possibilities in terms of collaborations, and also what is the right thing for you, what is the right mechanism of support for you. But what I will also say is that there is a huge community of people who are willing to go beyond just the pure academic endeavor and, either drive the creation of startups, the licenses of their technology, the adaptation of science that was done in academia into innovative products and services, and that, you can be one of them, and that we are very keen to connect to you, to hear about you and see how the network of the Catapults can support you. That another thing which is very important is many of us are academics, so we don't belong to the Catapults. And in that sense, we can provide you with an advice and a support as if that would be for ourselves as well, because we do understand the problems you have, and we do understand also the challenges and the barriers that every academic experiences in the universities in the UK. I think there is, the first tranche of applications show that there is a huge amount of technology and know-how and expertise out there in academic institutions that A, hasn't been tapped on by industry, B, that there is an important gap between what we have to offer and what industry is currently having access to, and that is something we need to bridge in one way or another. It also shows that there are researchers that still need support to bring their technologies further within academia before they can be at a stage that they will be attractive to industry, and that you can save a lot of time and money and get a lot of help to be more focused in the research if you're interested to do so by talking to us early on. So don't leave the contacting academic institutions and the themes leaders that we are in the network, or don't leave the talking to the Catapults to the last moment in your applications. Engage early on. And I'm absolutely convinced also from the number of the proposals we saw that are particularly strong in that when that connectivity between academia and the Catapults has happened well ahead of the submission, this list of really great proposals that we're really keen to support, to fund, and to take them forward.